Hey everybody, welcome to Pop Culture Philosophers. I'm Rockin' Robbie Billups, and it's time for the weekly comic book review. That's right, everybody. Thanks for checking out the video. I am Rockin' Robbie Billups. This is the weekly comic book review. It's the show where I read a lot of comic books and I let you know what I thought about them. And we always start with the pick of the week. And this week's pick of the week, Planet Death, issue number 1 from Bad Idea Comics. This book was freaking badass, y'all. This was awesome. So this is issue number 1. There has been a 0 issue already. It was in newsprint. It was $1.99. It came out a couple of months ago. There is a second printing of that, and that 0 issue gives you all the setup for this intergalactic war that's going on between some barbaric alien race and humanity, but it seems like humanity's soldiers are all, I don't know, like made or reconstituted from some kind of goo or something. I don't know. There's something going on where all these soldiers are waking up in these pods and they immediately go into battle, but they have these memories of a life before. Now, as a reader, I find it a little bit suspicious that this is going on. I almost feel like they're all just kind of cloned or created to be the army for this humanity intergalactic warmongering race or something like that, right? Anyway, there was that 0 issue. It's out in a new reprint today. It sets up the scene. And now we jump into the action when in the pages of issue number 1. So this is written by Derek Kolstad, who is the creator and writer of the John Wick franchise, as well as Robert Venditti, and then Tomas Giorello is the artist, and y'all, the art is what really sets this one over the top. Concept-wise, it's things we've seen before, a little bit Matrix, a little bit Edge of Tomorrow, things that we're familiar with, but the artwork, the execution, the way that this story is told, it's awesome. It's everything I love about comics. It's big, it's expansive, it's got great artwork, it's brutal, it's violent, it's bloody, it's got great action. The artwork is absolutely incredible. Gives me a little bit of a Joe Quesada at his peak type vibe, but still different and doing its own thing. The artwork and the coloring is what really helps this become, or what really elevates this into pick of the week territory. But all in all, Planet Death issue number 1 was pretty freaking dope. And even if you missed out on the 0 issue and you can't find the reprint or whatever, you can jump in right here and it still works. I want to show you that. That's the alien race right there. Great big explosive bombastic moments in this book. That's what I like about comics. Now this is one of the first Bad Idea comics I've ever reviewed, because Bad Idea had this thing where they were limiting their stuff to which comic shops could carry it, but now they've opened up the doors and anybody can order them. So now, without having to jump through all those little loops and go through all this BS, now any comic shop can just order the books. And I have always heard that Bad Idea had high quality content, and I could tell that they did based on the artwork, based on the writers that they had working for them, but I never read one. This was freaking awesome. There's more Bad Idea to come in this year to all comic shops across the nation, and I'm on board. I think this stuff is pretty awesome. So Planet Death issue number 1, that's your pick of the week. All right, moving on to Marvel Comics, we have Fantastic Four issue number 1. Why? Well, because there's a new Fantastic Four movie coming out. I'm kind of excited about it. There's a new Fantastic Four movie towards the end of the month. Fantastic Four is like one of my favorite comic book franchises of all time. It is my favorite comic book franchise of all time. So I'm always on board for a Fantastic Four movie, even though I don't think we've ever really gotten a good one, a good proper Fantastic Four movie. Maybe that will happen here. Aside from that, there is no reason for this to be relaunched as a new issue number 1. Now, we do welcome Humberto Ramos on as the artist, and that's cool because I think one of the problems with Ryan North, the writer, with his Fantastic Four run has been the artwork. I haven't really been sold on it. Now, I am a fan of Humberto Ramos, though I do believe his best days as an artist are a little bit behind him. You can still see what was there back in the day. It's still here, prevalent in the pages today. So I liked the artwork on this book. It was pretty freaking cool. But there's no need for this to be relaunched just because of a new artist or a movie, because it's still Ryan North telling Ryan North's typical Fantastic Four story. Also, we're in the midst of One World Under Doom, and this is a tie-in to One World Under Doom. So if you're reading this and you're like, you know what, I just saw this Fantastic Four movie, or I'm getting excited about this Fantastic Four movie, I don't know what's been up with that book, I've never checked that book out, oh, there's a new #1, let me check it out. What does this book do for you? I don't know. I feel like it throws you into the middle of stuff, confuses you, and doesn't operate or work through execution as a proper issue #1. That being said, it does introduce the four. It does introduce each character. It does throw you right in the middle of what's going on. But people all the time ask me, how do you start reading comics? Man, honestly, the best advice I could give anybody is do what I did. Do what everybody else in my generation did. Just start reading. You'll get caught up eventually. Eventually, you'll figure out what's going on. You'll get into the flow of the story. That's kind of what this feels like. So yeah, it doesn't need to be a new #1, but it was a pretty solid issue of Fantastic Four. Basically, the Fantastic Four are attacking Emperor Doom because he's the Emperor now. And yeah, if you are not caught up on what's been going on in the Marvel Universe, you might be reading this and going, what the hell? Maybe they're trying to get you excited to check out One World Under Doom. Anyway, they're attacking Doom. Doom says, you know what? Boom! Flings each of them into a different era of time. So now the Fantastic Four have to use their wits, brawn, and brains. Wits and brains kind of work to be the same thing, but whatever. They get to use whatever they can to find their way back. And I thought there was elements of this that were pretty clever, and also elements that were just kind of okay. So all in all, I thought it was a pretty solid issue of Fantastic Four, but it doesn't warrant a new #1. There's also this Alex Ross cover that's pretty freaking cool. It's a great variant. I don't usually double dip on my comics and get variant covers, but I like this Alex Ross cover, but I'm also a sucker for issue #1 cover A's, so I liked that. I thought it was dope. Not the cover of the week, though. What could possibly be? We also got Fantastic Four First Steps issue #1. This is just a one-shot comic set in the world of the MCU's Fantastic Four. So it's telling you the first mission of the Fantastic Four in that universe. It involves the Mole Man. It involves giant monsters coming up from under the ground. And it's alright. It's cool. Like, I kind of like the approach to this book. So it's written by Matt Fraction with artwork by Mark Buckingham. But I like the approach because it's set up almost as if it's a comic book made in universe, right? So like in the beginning, there's this letter from the Future Foundation being like, this is the fully authorized origin story or first mission of the Fantastic Four. The story itself is okay. It's just kind of a retread of the original Fantastic Four issue #1, but I guess set in this new version of the MCU's Fantastic Four. But you got ads for the Fantastic Car. You got excerpts from magazines like Reed Richards talking about the future is fantastic. You've got Johnny talks from his heart, like a Q&A from like a teen magazine from this world. I liked those little touches. I thought that was nifty. The book itself is just kind of all right. Not really necessary. If you're a hardcore Fantastic Four fan, like I am, you know you're going to pick it up already. I don't need to sell you on it. If you're a hardcore MCU fan, you might want to check it out. It's been a while since they've done an in-universe MCU tale. Usually, they're not that great. This one, it's okay, but it's honestly the packaging and some of the other material, like those interviews, that makes this kitschy, fun, and quite groovy. All right, I thought it was decent. All right, then we got the Marvel Swimsuit Special, issue #1, another one-shot bringing back the beloved Marvel Swimsuit Special. I was thinking about this. I don't have any of those swimsuit specials anymore. I want to get a hold of them. I really do. That's a part of my childhood, right? From so like when 1990 to 1994, 1995, they were doing these annual swimsuit editions where there would be pin-up artists or artists doing pin-ups of like all of our favorite superheroes scantily clad. I remember there's this famous one. It's Wolverine in some like cut-off jean shorts, and he's cooking hot dogs. That's referenced multiple times in this issue. So what is this? First of all, it's got a bunch of covers. I know the Mark Brooks cover is particularly of note. The cover A is by Adam Hughes, but I got this one by Tedesco, I think. Who is the cover artist on this one? Dude, no, is it Torin Clark? What's the name? Yeah, Torin Clark. That's right. I got this one because I'm a fan of Psylocke. I'm a super fan of Psylocke, and I'm a super fan of Psylocke in a swimsuit, so it kind of throws me back, and I thought that this was appropriate for me. All right, so you do have pinups in here, swimsuit pinups of Marvel characters. You got the X-Men, you got Spider-Man, you got She-Hulk, you got so many in here, and that's cool and that's nifty. But what's actually really interesting about this is there's a story that's thread throughout all of this about Roxxon using an AI-generated image of Marvel's heroes in swimsuits. And then there's this big commotion, so the heroes decide to get together to combat the Roxxon swimsuit special by doing their own. It's really cheesy. It's really dumb. It's supposed to be cheesy. It's supposed to be dumb. And an excuse just to have sexy swimsuit pinups. And that's what's going on. The story is written by Tim Seeley and Tony Fleece. They do a great job with it. Nick Bradshaw does the artwork. I liked it. It's big. It was silly. It was goofy. It was exactly what it needed to be. All right, then we got Predator, Black, White, and Blood, issue number 1, the first of a new 4-part series of, it's an anthology book. We've seen this before, Black, White, and Red, or Black, White, and Blood. They're anthology stories, a bunch of short stories, and they're all done in black, white with one color. This one, though, with 2 colors, red for human blood and green for predator blood. So it gives the artists a little bit more room to play around with those colors, and to be honest, all 3 stories in here have pretty frickin' solid artwork. The second one especially, John Bivens did the artwork there. The story penned by Elliot Rahal. That was a standout of this issue. The very final story has a style that at first I wasn't really on board for, but when the Predator shows up, it really works. And then the first story is Bloodwood by Joe Kelly and Alvaro Lopez, and that's the story that's going to continue throughout the pages of this, and I really liked it. There's some really interesting ways to show the passage of time in the first bit of that story, so I liked it. Usually these Black, White, and Red, Black, White, and Blood, Black, White, and Green anthology comics, they're like, okay, they're kind of forgettable, but Predator actually works. Violent, brutal, bloody, red and green blood, and it works. I really liked the way the artists approach, each artist intentionally approaching the usage of just these 2 colors and then the values of black and white. So I thought that was cool. Then we got Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion, issue number 2, written by Dennis Camp and Cody Ziegler, with artwork by Jonas Scharf. This is Miles Morales in the new Ultimate Universe. Now, Miles and the Maker are from the original Ultimate Universe. The Maker created a new Ultimate Universe, and through some crazy comic book superhero shenanigans, Miles's young infant sister, Billy, has gone through a portal into the new Ultimate Universe. So Miles is there trying to find her. He's running around with Hank Pym and Janet Van Dyne. He's hanging around with Wasp and Giant Man, and they're trying to find where his kid sister is. Turns out she's in Wakanda. So what's really interesting about this book in particular is not necessarily Miles in the new Ultimate Universe, but having elements of the Ultimate Universe finally collide. Like, Black Panther has been a great book, Ultimate Black Panther, but it's been on its own, away from everything else. It's interesting to see the world of Wakanda interact with elements of the world of the Ultimates. And then the ending of this issue to set up another corner of this new Ultimate Universe that's going to finally incur, right? So it's like the incursion is not just about Miles and Billy going into the new Ultimate Universe, but about these different corners of the Ultimate Universe finally colliding, and I actually like that approach. I thought this was a pretty solid issue. Then we've got Uncanny X-Men here with issue number 17, I believe. Yes, issue number 17. This is a much hyped up issue introducing a new X-Men villain named Mutina. The story is about a horror film that's been released that is portraying a mutant as a slasher serial killer. It's painting mutants in a bad light. It was all right. To be honest, I thought it was a little bit underwhelming. I like the concept of it a little bit, but I do think the X-Men are being a little bit too whiny about a freaking horror movie. But then again, I'm a huge horror fan. I've heard a lot of people be like, oh, these horror movies are going to influence people, and you're a bad person if you like this kind of depraved nonsense. And so to me, I felt like the X-Men were being a little bit hypocritical here. However, art was great, though, because it's Vecchio, one of my new favorite artists, Luciano Vecchio. His work is so freaking solid. I love it. And he's doing this. He's doing covers. He's doing Spider-Verse versus Venomverse. Hell, Vecchio's work is seriously the sole reason why I'm loving and digging Spider-Verse versus Venomverse. So Uncanny X-Men number 17 had some interesting bits to it, but I felt like it was a little bit just too misguided in what it was trying to portray. Like, I get it. Like, it's not cool to hate on people. It's not cool to, like, have inaccurate representation, but a horror movie's a horror movie. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you can let me know if I'm wrong. Y'all usually do. All right, then we got Red Hulk here with issue number 6, 7? Where's the issue number of this issue of Hulk? What issue number is this? It's number 6. Yes, number 6. Issue number 6 of Hulk, Red Hulk, I should say, part of the One World Under Doom story. This is written by Benjamin Percy with artwork by Jeff Shaw. I have really loved Red Hulk so far. So Dr. Doom kidnaps Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross, who is the Red Hulk. He kidnaps him. He, along with Machine Man and Deathlock, and I love this new team that's swarming between the three of them, and they escape Doom's prison, but you can't just escape Doom's prison, especially when he's like Emperor Doom and all that stuff right now, so they wind up still going through more conflict, more trials and tribulations. That's all continuing here in the pages of issue number 6. I love the art, I love the flow, I love the execution, and I love this variant Retrovision cover from Mike Allred. Also, a newish character gets introduced here. It's pretty awesome. Can't wait for the next issue. And over at DC, we've got Superman Treasury 2025 Hero for All, a $15 one-shot, $20 if you want the foil edition. It is written by Dan Jurgens with artwork by Bruno Redondo. This is setting up for the Superman movie. The Superman movie is out this week. I'm very excited to check it out. Some people have already seen it. If you've seen the Superman movie, let us know in the comments. What did you think about it? Good, bad, in between, kind of just meh? Let us know without spoilers. All spoilers will be deleted in the comments. That being said, this is a one-shot comic book, a decent enough Superman adventure. The artwork by Bruno Redondo was pretty good. I like the usage of this format, but let's be honest, y'all. Who's out there really excited about a Treasury edition of Superman now? Like, I get it. They've done things like this in the past, whether it was the Marvel DC crossovers back in the 70s, whether it was the Paul Dini, Alex Ross stuff that they did back in the late 90s, early 2000s. I love those books. I still have them, but they're in my closet because they don't really fit on shelves. They don't really fit in bags and boards. Yes, they do make Treasury bags and boards, so I guess we could invest and do that. But yeah, seriously, $15? I would have rather had like a graphic novel or something, but maybe this would sell better than a graphic novel. I don't know. That being said, it's a decent one-shot Superman story that also kind of encapsulates the world of Superman, so it gets the job done. It understands the assignment. Then we've got Batman Gotham by Gaslight, A League for Justice, issue number 1. So Batman Gotham by Gaslight, the Kryptonian Age, it was set up to be a 12-issue series. My cat is all up on my camera tripod right now. Cat, what are you doing? I left the door open for you, and you're sitting here, you're probably making the camera all shaky. Who knows what kind of commotions you're getting? Oh, you're going to ignore me? You're just going to ignore me? I'm going to ignore you. Batman Gotham by Gaslight, the Kryptonian Age, was set up to be a 12-issue series. It started running behind, and so then they decided it would just be a 6-issue series, and the second part of it would be called A League for Justice, because this is set in the world of Batman Gotham by Gaslight, but this is the purpose of this book is to introduce the Justice League into this Elseworld of Batman. A Victorian age Batman is what it is. The original Gotham by Gaslight, Brian Austin, Mike Mignola, really great, super solid stuff. I got my original copy right down there. Super great book. We should cover it one day on the channel, maybe like a DC in the 90s or something like that. That being said, since the book was running late, and I feel like that's why they decided to separate it into 2 different miniseries, 6 issues each, that means that, number 1, this does not work as an issue number 1. You are thrown right into the middle of the story. If you did not read what came before it, you will be lost as hell. Also, because I feel like it was lateness in the artwork, and I don't know this for a fact, but I could just kind of feel like the work was getting a little bit rushed, maybe a little bit sloppy. Compared to the first series, this is the sloppiest, most rushed issue yet artistically. The art here, it's decent and it's fine, it gets the job done, but there's just like way too much empty space that's not really utilizing things. Now, as I'm looking at these pages, I'm like, there's not that much empty space. Actually, there's plenty of good backgrounds. Maybe I'm being harsh on the artwork. I don't know, it just kind of felt rushed. It didn't really feel like it worked for me, and it kind of felt like a deadline job from the artist. But I don't know, man. I still liked it. I still like this world. I still like this story. I still like this iteration of the Justice League, so we'll see what happens. Then we've got Absolute Superman issue number 9. This book is strengthening. Every single issue just keeps getting better and better. Where'd the cat go? Now she's over there just chilling. Thank you, Prudence. I love you. You're an awesome cat. You're a great cat. I'm sorry I yelled at you in front of everybody, okay? I won't do that again. Yes, I will. All right, so Absolute Superman number 9 is strengthening. Continue that trend of getting better and better, and that's what's going on here. So Superman is now with the Omega Men, who are... Jimmy Olsen's a part of that group. Lois Lane's part of the Lazarus Project, or the Lazarus Corporation, which is run by Ra's al Ghul. You got some stuff going on with them there, but Jimmy is part of the Omega Men. Superman is running around with him and them right now, and he thinks that they're like freedom fighters. They're trying to fight for truth, justice, and the American way, or all that kind of jazz, right? But there's more to them than what they are letting on, including the obvious fact, that they're called the Omega Men in a world, the absolute world, that is created by Darkseid. So we're building up some stuff there. Very exciting. Rafa Sandoval is still here on the art, but he does have a fill-in artist throughout. Who is the fill-in artist? I cannot quite remember now. It is Fico Ossio, who we know, and it's a different enough style, but it still kind of flows and matches the tone and the atmosphere, so it still works. Absolute Superman is a book, out of all the Absolute books, it was the one I was not really sold on with issue number 1, but like I said, it keeps strengthening and being pretty freaking interesting. Then we got Trinity, daughter of Wonder Woman, issue number 2. I just didn't like it. Trinity, the concept of Trinity, the daughter of Wonder Woman, and Steve Trevor of a sort. How her origins come about in the pages of Tom King's Wonder Woman, I really like that. And I like that run, even though it's been a little bit wobbly and wonky here lately. But Trinity is a story, so it's like kid Trinity, pre-adolescent Trinity, teenager Trinity, all running through time, or telling stories about running through time, trying to save Robin as a dog, and so one of the Trinities goes back in time, teams up with Jason Todd before he dies to save Damian Wayne as a corgi. It's cute and it's charming, or at least it's trying to be cute, charming, and humorous, but I just don't think that's quite Tom King's wheelhouse, so it doesn't work for me, so this is going to be the last issue I read. I feel like I've already talked about it too much. Then we've got Aquaman here with issue number 7. Issue number 7 of Aquaman, there's the regular cover, but I got that Mark Spears variant right there because Mark's a great artist. Aquaman's one of my favorite DC superheroes of all time, if not my favorite, so had to get it. It's a great cover. And the issue was just kind of okay. I love this story that Jeremy Adams has been building up. Atlantis has disappeared through an Omega Gate, tying into the DC All-In whole story and initiative, right? And then, all of a sudden, the art changes. Here in the pages of issue number 7, the art all of a sudden goes to Michael Shelfer, and it's just not that great. John Timms has a really kinetic, dynamic, fluid style of artwork, and this is like a pale imitation of it, so it kind of threw me out. Plus, there are actually some story choices here that I was like, bruh, really? This is where we're going with this story? That being said, we'll see how it pans out. We'll see what happens. The book was just kind of alright. Alright, then we got Green Lantern Corps, issue number 6. Kudos to Jeremy Adams and Morgan Hampton for what they're doing in the pages of Green Lantern Corps. Jeremy Adams is the ongoing writer of Green Lantern, and over there it's mostly a Hal Jordan book, but there are these big things that are being built up with, right? Like different factions and parts of the emotional spectrum. Some of the more interesting things being done with the emotional spectrum since the Jeff Johns days, right? But Green Lantern needs to have these stories that build up and get big and challenge the readers and challenge the mythology and the lore. And Jeremy Adams is doing that, and along with Morgan Hampton here in Green Lantern Corps. And even though Green Lantern by Jeremy Adams is mostly a Hal Jordan-centric book, he finds a place in there for other characters like Kyle Rayner, for instance. And here in Green Lantern Corps, we get, in this issue, Joe, we get Jessica, we get Teen Lantern, some Guy Gardner. It's really freaking cool. Some Sinestro. Sinestro's back in the fold. I'm really liking it. But they find Mogo in a very bad state, and they got to figure out what to do with him. Plus, Sinestro shows up, runs into his kid, and the Kid of Zod. I thought that was pretty cool. Art's good. Story's good. The comic is good. Then we got Action Comics 1088. Yes, part of the Summer of Superman, Mark Waid is now back as the writer on Action Comics, and he's decided to tell us Superboy Year 1, right? And in this issue, Superboy, or Clark, having become Superboy, is his first day back in school, or his first day in high school, or something like that. And this book gives me like Smallville vibes if Smallville was good. So that was pretty interesting. I like that. So if you liked Smallville, you'll probably really like this. And if you didn't like Smallville, have no fear. This is Smallville done right. There you go. It's still the year of the hill, everybody. All right. Then we got Batman Dark Patterns, issue number 8. This is my favorite Batman book right now. It's just a 12-issue series set up in 3-issue arcs. They all have really interesting cases that Batman is working on. And this is the 3rd story arc. What's it called? Pareidolia, where the mind makes patterns where there are none, and maybe Batman is starting to see some patterns in some crimes that aren't necessarily there. This really harkens back to the strange, weird Legends of the Dark Knight 90s Batman days, even with Hayden's work. Hayden is one of the most versatile artists in the industry today. They are always able to adapt and shift their style to any atmosphere or mood or tone that is needed, and this takes me right back into the 90s, but at the same time feels very much distinctively modern and stylistically Hayden's work. And Dan Watters bringing the strangeness back in Batman, and I'm all down for that. All right, let's jump over to Image Comics. And from Image Comics, we have The Unchosen, issue number 1, written and illustrated by David Marquez. Now, David Marquez has astounded in the pages of Marvel Comics, in the pages of DC. In fact, he's recently had work at Marvel Comics in the pages of Uncanny X-Men. I think David Marquez is an exceptional artist. Really great figure work, really solid, really grounded, but still very superhero-y, very dynamic and fluid at the same time. So this is the first book that David Marquez is writing and drawing all at the same time. So this is his first written work. Now, he is a co-creator of some stuff, but this is the first thing that he's writing on his own, and I was very impressed with his writing in this book. The dialogue is sharp, the pacing and plotting of the story is really tight, it's really solid, right? And the artwork is exceptional, and you know that somebody's going to give their best effort when they have more of a stake involved. So this is David Marquez's property. So we're really getting some of the cleanest, most sophisticated David Marquez artwork I've ever seen. The story needs a little bit more to entice me to come back. But knowing how much I love David Marquez and how exciting this first issue actually was, I'm already sold on issue number 2. So it's about this woman. She wakes up one day in a crater. Her mom is gone. She doesn't really remember who she is or anything like that. And then these people show up. These 2 people show up to like save her. And they're like, your mom sent us. We're here to take you out. Not to take you out, but to take you to safety. To somewhere. Basically a place that we find out is, I don't know if it's like a Hogwarts or something like that, but it's basically a place where these kids can learn to utilize their powers, right? So the story kind of starts in the present day and then flashes back to tell us a little bit about how we got there, but it doesn't quite give us just enough. Like 10 more pages could have really fleshed this out to be a great issue number 1, but that being said, it was still pretty solid. The artwork was great, the dynamic action, the quality of the dialogue and the storytelling, it's all pretty much top notch. I just wanted a little bit more of a hook to bring us back, but I think we're going to get that in issue number 2. We shall see. Issue number 1. It's pretty dope. Then we got Transformers issue number 22. We only, after this issue, have 2 issues left of Daniel Warren Johnson on Transformers. Sad day. Very sad day. We've already got the announcement that Robert Kirkman's taking over the writing and Dan Mora's taking over the artwork. So that's pretty freaking cool. But that being said, everything that Daniel Warren Johnson's been building up to has really started to unravel and unleash in the pages of Transformers. Megatron is back. The Autobots are on the defensive. Soundwave, Starscream, everybody's just wrecking shit all over the place. Jorge Corona, his artwork is incredibly gritty texture, but at the same time exciting and bombastic. I love the Transformers book. It hits those notes, those emotional notes so well, and even robots. Yes, you will believe that even a Transformer can cry in the pages of Daniel Warren Johnson's Transformers. This book is exceptional. It's awesome. I'm going to be sad to see this team go, but I have high hopes for the next team. There's also a variant cover, cover B, by Jorge Corona. Everything I love about his work on Transformers is present right here. Stylized, gritty, textured, dynamic, explosive, graphic, composed, composition, like perfect execution. Guess what? That's the cover of the week right there. All right, also from Image, we have Blood Squad 7, issue number 9. Blood Squad 7 is a little bit of a tribute to Youngblood. It's Joe Casey taking the concept and idea and characters of Youngblood, giving them new names, fresh perspectives, and bringing them into the modern day. I've said this before, I'll say it again. What Joe Casey did to Jim Lee's Wildcats with Wildcats Volume 2 and Wildcats 3.0, that's what he's doing to Rob Liefeld's Youngblood in the pages of Blood Squad 7. Really cool, interesting stuff. And in this issue, it really ramps up the tension and the conflict and the activity to another degree, right? So there's an international incident that is tied into an incident similar to what we saw at the beginning of the original Youngblood run, but there's an international incident that now this Blood Squad 7 team that's not quite ready to even go public yet has to get embroiled with. This book is so cleverly and smartly written. Joe Casey's been at this for a while. He knows what to do. And is it Paul Fry? Yeah, Paul Fry's artwork gets the job done. It gives me vibes of Dustin Nguyen's work on Wildcats 3.0 at times without like the ink washy stuff. I would like to see more of an approach like that, but man, all in all, I'm having so much fun with this, and this is the best follow-up to Youngblood I've ever read, even though technically, legally speaking, it's not Youngblood at all. It's Blood Squad 7. Then we got Savage Dragon here with issue number 3, or 277. We're getting close to issue 300 Savage Dragon, and here's the thing. I haven't read so many of these issues, and now I'm realizing the hypocrisy. G.I. Joe Real American Hero, I don't cover on this channel. Why? Because I'm like 300 and something issues behind. But you know what? I've only ever read like the first 10 issues of Savage Dragon, but I have no problem enjoying the new Savage Dragon, even though I have no idea how we got here or who these characters are. It's kind of like what I was saying. It's kind of like what I was saying about how you get into comics. You just jump in and follow along, and if you like the artwork, if you like the characters, if you like the stories, eventually you just kind of feel like you fall in to be a part of that world. That's what's happened to me since I've been reading Savage Dragon starting like a year or two ago, right? And I'm loving it. So it's Eric Larson, and Eric Larson is still doing what Eric Larson does, which is writing and drawing Savage Dragon. And yes, this book is known, especially nowadays, for really pushing boundaries and going really further than maybe it should. But man, I applaud the book for that, right? This is a great issue, though. So right now we're in a series of self-contained one-and-done stories that are focusing in on Dragon's kids. And this one is, I don't even remember their name. This is Jackson's story. The little girl was last time. So he's teaming up with this other hero. I have no idea who this guy is, but you know what? I'm digging this story. So he's teaming up with this guy. He's like, I want to be a hero like my dad. Can you teach me? He's like, yeah, I'll teach you, kid. We're going to stop these sex traffickers. And the kid's like, I don't even know what sex trafficking is. So then this hero has to like explains sex trafficking to this like 8 or 9-year-old. Pretty funny stuff there. And then the kid gets quite brutal and violent. Pretty awesome. Savage Dragon is a great book. It's an homage to a classic Batman cover. Batman number 9, I believe. Savage Dragon is great. Then we've got a facsimile edition of Witchblade number 1 in a regular cover and a foil cover. I've been wanting to get a hold of the first issue of Witchblade for a while, so I can do a segment of Image in the 90s on Witchblade issue number 1. And yo, we got it now. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. I don't know. I've honestly never read Witchblade issue number 1. I was into Witchblade very briefly for a time when Ron Mars was on it. I was more into the darkness. We actually talked about this on Rockin' Robbie Live. But yeah, relive the days of Witchblade in a foil facsimile. Thought that was cool. We were talking about darkness because there's my darkness trade. And just to show it off, it's signed by Garth Ennis, right down there, and Mark Silvestri. So that's pretty cool. Met both of them. Super great dudes. Let's jump over to IDW. We got Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, Rite of Spring, issue number 1. A follow-up, a sequel to the original groundbreaking, one of the best comics of last year, the year before, I think it was last year, Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. I've heard that this story is basically Dexter, but with like cute animals, anthropomorphic animals and shit, right? So it's about this woman who's in this town, who goes to other towns. She's a serial killer. She kills these people. She goes out of her town to do it. The first story involved somebody finding out about it and trying to become a copycat killer. And it didn't turn out well for that guy, I'll tell you that. So where do we go for the sequel? We pick up like 8 years later, and it's about the sister of one of the victims trying to find what happened to her brother. It leads her to this town, right into the path of our favorite cute bear serial killer. If you loved the first one, no reason why you're not going to love this one. Yeah, cute artwork that is juxtapositioned against a very bloody, very dark story. And yeah, that's cool, but we've seen that before. But what really makes this work is Patrick Horvath's script. His writing, the pacing, the dialogue, it feels so real, feels so natural, and you get pulled out of the idea that you're in this weird cutesy world of animal characters, and you just kind of completely fall into the vibe of this dark, rich murder story. That's what's going on. I really like this follow-up. I didn't think it was needed, but after reading issue number 1, give me more. Please. Please do. Then we got Godzilla, Here There Be Aliens, issue number 2. I'm liking it. It's written by Frank Thierry with Angel Hernandez on the artwork. It's Godzilla versus aliens. There's really no Godzilla in this one. They do more of a world building or explanation and the exposition of where these aliens come from. It's all tied into other kaiju that we know from Godzilla lore. But I like it. I like the artwork. You got Jet Jaguar in this issue. I freaking had fun with this. Some of these Godzilla books that IDW's been doing all of a sudden have all become really exceptionally good. Like, Godzilla is all over the place. And I get it. I mean, he should be. Godzilla is a freaking international icon, right? Pop culture icon. And I just love how much care has been given to the world and the characters of Godzilla in the pages of the IDW books. And guess what? We're not even close to done. There's even more bangers to come. Trust me, I've gotten an early peek at some stuff. Godzilla fans, rejoice. Then we've got Archie meets Jay and Silent Bob issue number 1. Okay, if this book would have come out 20 years ago, I'd be flipping my lid for this book. If this book would have come out 10 years ago, I'd have been interested because I was really gobbling up all of the Archie crossovers. Archie versus the Predator. I love Archie meets the Punisher from back in the day. Still one of my favorite things. But I love these mashups. Archie meets Kiss. Archie meets this. Archie meets that. But I'm kind of done with that, and I'm kind of done with my love of the View Askew universe and Kevin Smith and all of that, right? I still love Clerks, Mallrats, Chasing Amy, and Dogma. Pretty much everything else tied into this world, I don't really like. Now, Kevin Smith did a great job of tying comics into that world with Jim Mahfood in Clerks the comic book and Clerks the holiday special. Then he even did it with Duncan Fegredo in the Jay and Silent Bob miniseries that was collected as Chasing Dogma because it takes place between Chasing Amy and Dogma. And shows you how Jay and Silent Bob get from the diner in Chasing Amy to Illinois in Dogma. Anyway, I'm rambling a little bit. Am I not wanting to talk about this book? All right. No, I liked the book. I thought it was fine. It does take place after Clerks 3. I haven't watched Clerks 3, so something big in Clerks 3 gets spoiled for me, but that's my fault. If I really wanted to check it out, I would have watched Clerks 3, but I didn't really like Clerks 2, and I didn't really like Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, so I didn't really rush into watching it. Plus, I kind of already knew the spoiler. I just kind of deduced it through pop culture osmosis. That being said, it's actually a pretty funny book. Archie gets a job at the Quick Stop. Randall's running the Quick Stop. He has to do a show. He gets sick. Jay decides he's going to take over as the lead singer of the Archies. It's stupid. It's silly. It's Kevin Smith replaying some of his same tricks. Replaying the hits, I guess, if you will. But it actually worked. It actually worked well, and I thought the book was kind of fun. Lots of cool covers. Love that cover by Francisco Francavilla. But I liked the book. I thought it was good. I thought it was interesting. And it kind of made me go, man, I miss those days when I was super excited about a Kevin Smith project. It didn't quite pull me back into that, but it made me miss those days. It's not bad. It's actually pretty good. Then we got Conan the Barbarian, issue number 22 from Titan Comics, written by Jim Zub. Yo, Jim Zub was just recently on the channel. We talked about Conan the Barbarian, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. Y'all got to check that out. This dude knows his Conan. Now, we should have already known that because he's been writing the hell out of this character. So we're building up to this newest serpent. There's some kind of crossover coming. Something about serpents in the serpent. Anyway, this is all build up to that, and man, this is so freaking good. Conan the Barbarian has been one of my favorite comics since the Titan #1 came out. Jim Zub has been killing it, and he's been working with some really great artists, and now he's working with Diego that's the colorist. Diego Rodriguez coloring, by the way, pretty solid, but Fernando Dagnino, frickin' awesome. I love this frickin' book. It's great. Conan's been kidnapped. He's doing the whole gladiator bit right now. A woman's like in charge of this gladiator ring. She's like his prized possession. She wants to get down and dirty with him. But you know, Conan's not afraid to turn down some tail every once in a while if he needs to. Also, anyway, this is all a build up into the latest crossover big story that's happening, and some characters that were reintroduced to us a few issues ago. Maybe I'm not going to get too much into it, but y'all, Conan the Barbarian. It's one of the greatest comics out there today. You know what else is? How about the Savage Sword of Conan? That's right, issue number 9. Yes, issue number 9 out this week from Titan Comics. I love the hell out of this book. First of all, it's printed on newsprint. It smells so good. I'm giving this the smell of the week because it smells like digging through your stepdad's closet to find some violent, sexy comics. Because that's what this is. All right, so you got a main story. It's like a 60-pager by Patrick Zurcher. And I'm going to tell you something. This may be some of the best work I've ever read and seen from Patrick Zurcher. Absolutely top-notch stuff. Super clean, solid line. It's Conan and Valeria on a mission for a king of a land that they're in. They get captured. They get thrown into this quest. And they are finding themselves not really digging each other. They're starting to have a little bit of a lover's quarrel. A little bit of a lover's spat. That was fun. The artwork was exceptional. Brutal, violent, sexy. Y'all, this is what I love. In comics, this stuff is so awesome. There's also a backup story in here by Fabian Nicieza about Cull, and I think it might be the first Cull story here. But what's really interesting, Sean Chen on the artwork. I haven't seen work from Sean in forever. I used to be a big fan of his. In fact, I came to know him through his work on Iron Man with Kurt Busiek and Roger Stern back in the late 90s, early 2000s. But Savage Sword of Conan number 9, this is one of the greatest books out there. And you don't have to read 1 through 8. You can just pick this up and you get bang for your buck. This is a $6.99 comic that gives you more content, more pages, and more high quality than even my $5.99 pick of the week. So there you go. All right, from Mad Cave Studios, we have Wild Animals, issue number 1. It's a new book from Ed Brisson with artwork by Andy Kunn. I like this book. I thought it was really cool. So it's about this dude whose father was a police officer, murdered by fellow police officers when he was a kid. And during that incident, he had some hot oil thrown on him, so he's all burnt up now, right? He is running, or he's working at a gas station. His mother is sick and dying. He feels like a loser. He wishes that he had a spine. He wishes that he could, like, go out there and be a hero and be a cop and hunt down those who killed and murdered his father and take care of things, but instead, life just keeps hitting him the wrong way. And then it continuously hits him the wrong way until he decides, you know what? If everybody around me wants to be a wild animal, so will I. And he goes on a mission of vengeance and revenge. This is all a setup issue, but it gets really into the core of the character. It very efficiently lets us know his backstory, where he is now, and where he's going to go. This is how you do a first issue comic. Gives us a hook, gives us intrigue, gives us excitement, gives us something to relate to, gives us something nuanced and interesting. So Wild Animals, #1. Sleeper hit of the week right there. Then we got The Slasher's Apprentice issue #3 from Mad Cave Studios, written by Justin Richards with artwork by Val Halverson. This is the same team behind Finger Guns. Been a minute since we've seen them work together, but man, it was well worth the wait. Slasher's Apprentice is exactly what it says it's about. It's about a slasher. Like a movie slasher, right? Like not like an actor, but an actual movie type slasher, okay? A lot of slasher movie references in this book too, and you know what? I really dig that kind of stuff. But there is a young lady who is obsessed with serial killers who meets up with this slasher and says, yo, you've fallen off in popularity since the 80s. I think I know how to goose your algorithm a little bit. If you take me on as your apprentice, that's what's going on. She starts working her mojo and magic here in the pages of issue #3. It's exciting. This is cute. It's charming. It's vicious, it's bloody, it's irreverently funny. This is great stuff. Slasher's Apprentice, issue #3. Then we've got Uncanny Valley, not Uncanny Vallow. That's a book I've been cooking up on the side. Uncanny Vallow. It's about nothing. That joke went nowhere. Honestly, that was a bit that should have never started. Got a lot of those here over 10 years at PCP. Anyway, Uncanny Valley, issue #10, is the final issue of this Tony Fleece, Dave Wachter series. Y'all, Dave Wachter's artwork here is absolutely exceptional, and the conclusion of this story was exactly what it needed to be. I just wish that we had 2 to 3 more pages. It would have really, really anchored that ending for me and not had it be so abrupt. Aside from that, I have loved this series. It's about a kid who finds out he's half human, half cartoon. There is a cartoon reality. He's got people in the cartoon reality against him. They're coming after him, trying to find him. There's this villain called the First. It's kind of like Maleficent meets Mickey Mouse. It's dope. There's so many references to classic cartoons, and Tony knows cartoons, but he knows how to integrate them in the modern comic and have them be compelling, intriguing, and awesome as hell. Uncanny Valley, if you want a pull quote, awesome as fuck. There you go. There you go. All right, from AWA, we have They Chose Violence, issue #1. This did release like a month ago, but it had a missing page or something like that. So they pulped it and decided to reprint it. So I didn't cover it when it first came out because I wanted to be able to get the whole story. And it was just kind of all right. It was okay. It's about this woman. It's about this black woman who is so tired of seeing black men and black women being murdered by cops and the cops getting away with it. This is a thread that we've seen in real life and in story over the last few years. Fuck, forever, right? Last few decades, forever, basically, right? So they decide to take action into their own hands, and they choose violence. They choose violence, and that's what happens here, but it's not doing anything new with this concept. Now, I'm all down for these kind of revenge tales. I'm all down for this being explored. I'm all down. But do something different with it. Don't make it just like everything else that's in this lane. Be bold, be different, be provocative. And I feel like this book holds itself back just a little bit, which may sound ironic because there's a lot in this book they don't hold back on, but it doesn't quite land for me. I think it needs some ironing out. But overall, I thought it was okay. Then we got Dark Stalkers, Street Fighter, Blood Throne, issue #1, Lords of the Makai. Every time they do one of these Street Fighter books or Dark Stalkers books, I try to read it because I like Street Fighter. I like Darkstalkers a lot. I like the art here. I like Morrigan. Super sexy. I like sexy women. I like sexy men. I like sexy women and sexy men in comics. But man, I could not get into this story at all. It was all over the place. I felt lost. I felt confused. I felt like I've missed something, even though this is issue number 1. I don't know. I always feel this way when I try to read a Street Fighter or a Darkstalkers comic. I really do. I'm asking you out there. If you're a fan of Udon, and you like their Street Fighter books, you like their Darkstalker stuff, what am I supposed to read? What's going to pull me in? Because it definitely wasn't this. And I want to be into these books. Because I really like sexy catwomen and sexy werewolves. All right, Dark Regards is here with issue number 3 from Oni Press. This book is just ridiculously fun. I have so much fun with this book. It's about an average, mundane kind of guy who's super into, like, Norwegian death metal, black satanic metal. He wants to be a metal star. He gets promised that he's going to be the greatest metal star of all time. So he's trying to get noticed, and he sends like letters to these Norwegian satanic metal bands, and he talks a lot of shit about them to get them to notice him. And now they show up at his mother's house and they start trying to threaten his community. But the book is so much fun. Just so much fun. And if you're into like black metal, I'm sure there's lots of little references that I'm missing that you'll pick up on, because I'm not really a metalhead like that, but I am a Dark Regards head. I like this book, and I have a lot of fun with it. All right, I got a couple trade paperback collections I want to talk about. Well, one trade, one hardcover from Marvel. How about the Micronauts in an epic collection? And they're starting with Volume 1. That's right, and we already got Volume 2 and 3 promised. But this collects Micronauts 1 through 20 and annual number 1. Now, it is $50, and it does have that modern Marvel recoloring. It's not a recolor, but they don't adjust the levels on this paper to make it accurately represent what the colors would have looked like on newsprint. That does bother me. However, it's nice that for $50 in one chunk, I can get the first 20 issues plus the first annual of Micronauts, because I've been after these books. I just haven't been able to find them and haven't really gone out of my way to find them. But I am a Michael Golden fan, and Tom Scioli on his channel went through, I think, the first 10 issues of Micronauts, and I was really wanting to check this stuff out. So I am so thrilled, beyond thrilled, that these epic collections are coming out. I had to pick it up. All right, and from DC, we got Flex Mentallo. That's right, Flex Mentallo, Man of Muscle Mystery, in a new deluxe edition in hardcover. Grant Morrison, Frank Quitely, one of their characters from Grant's Doom Patrol run being elevated into solo status here with this miniseries. I haven't read this in years. It's been unavailable and out of print for years. I have never had a copy. Now my Doom Patrol Grant Morrison collection is complete. I'm so glad that this is back out. Buy this comic now, or the earth is doomed. Really great stuff here. Though it's been a while since I've read it. I haven't read this since, I don't know, like early 2000s when like Invisibles was wrapping up and I was all crazy, gung-ho crazy for Grant Morrison. So Flex Mentallo, Micronauts in an epic collection. They also got a ROM epic collection I've been eyeing. Probably going to buy that one too. So let's wrap up real quick with a quick rundown. Dark Regards is stupid fun. Darkstalker Street Fighter did not work for me. They chose violence. I'm digging it, but it feels like it's not quite going far enough, if that makes sense. Uncanny Valley was a phenomenal ending to this Tony Fleece story. Slasher's Apprentice, best issue yet. Wild Animals, your sleeper pick of the week, a revenge story, and in issue number 1, done right. Savage Sword of Conan and Conan the Barbarian continue to be absolutely stellar and amazing, and they got me thinking about getting those Conan the Barbarian omnibus editions to get and read the old stuff, Roy Thomas and more. I would like to, but I'm holding out for softcover collections. Jim, if you're watching, are they doing softcover collections? Just let me know. Anyway, Archie meets Jay and Silent Bob was way better than I thought it would be. Godzilla, Here There Be Aliens, cheesy B sci-fi movie schlock. I loved it. Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees, Rite of Spring. Why did we need a sequel? I didn't think we did until I read this, and now I'm all for it. Witchblade in a facsimile form, issue number 1, coming soon to an image in the 90s near you. Savage Dragon, Eric Larson still doing it, and he's still doing it fantastically. Blood Squad 7, an incredibly, insanely awesome issue. Transformers number 22 continues to excel and soar, and Jorge Corona gets the cover of the week right there for the variant. The Unchosen maybe needed 10 more pages to really pull me in, but David Marquez's artwork and his storytelling prowess is on display here. Batman Dark Patterns bringing the strange weirdness back to Batman. Action Comics is like Smallville if Smallville was good. Green Lantern Corps is a pretty solid book. Aquaman really misstepped for me this week, but I love that Mark Spears cover. Trinity Daughter Wonder Woman, cute, charming. That's not quite Tom King's way for me, and it's just not working for me. Absolute Superman keeps getting better and better. Batman Gotham by Gaslight, A League for Justice was a little bit underwhelming. Superman Treasury 2025 Hero for All, big, obnoxiously tabloid sized, but you know what, let's get over it. A good comic's a good comic, but the only thing is, after reading it, I may not ever need to read or want to read that comic book again. Red Hulk, great cover by Mike Allred right there for the variant, but also just a really solid book, man. Low-key super good. Uncanny X-Men number 17, interesting, but some missteps. I don't think it quite landed or quite worked for me. Ultimate Spider-Man Incursion, though, not just Miles and his sister in the Ultimate Universe, but the Ultimate Universe meeting the Ultimate Universe. That made sense. Predator, Black, White, and Blood. Artistically, pretty solid, and story-wise, pretty interesting story. So if you're a Predator fan, I would recommend you check it out. The Marvel Swimsuit special is here. It's sexy, it's funny, it's cheesy, it's dumb, it's fun. And I love me some Psylocke in a bikini. That's not a bikini. I love me Psylocke with a boob window. How about that? Fantastic Four First Steps. It's the first official mission of the MCU Fantastic Four. Interesting things to it, but overall, just kind of okay. Fantastic Four number 1, a great cover by Alex Ross and Humberto Ramos, who is now on the book. Doesn't need to have a new number 1, but it was still a decent enough issue with slight things that I didn't really quite vibe with. But Planet Death, issue number 1 from Bad Idea Comics. The pick of the week, $5.99. But man, it's awesome. The artwork is explosively, bombastically amazing and brilliant. The story is on the nose, familiar, but I don't care. The execution from all parties involved absolutely excelled. The only problem with this book, we don't get the next issue till November. But I guess that gives me time to save up $6 more. All right. That's what I read. That's what I thought. That's what I'm digging. What are you reading? What are you thinking? What are you digging? Let me know in the comments down below. Let's keep this conversation going. Thank you so much for checking out the video. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And join us over at patreon.com/PCP if you want to help support the channel. I've been rocking Robbie Billups. Thanks for rocking with us. Keep on reading. Station. Pop, pop. Boop, 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 boom! What was that?